Well, the federal government agreed to dole out $700 billion to help the failing financial industry. Now the auto industry wants help. But what would Detroit actually do with the cash, and who would benefit? Joining us now, Brian Fredline, president of the United Auto Workers Local 602, and Jonathan Honig, CEO of Capitalist Pig Hedge Fund. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Megan.
Good morning.
All right, so Jonathan, let me start with you. As I understand it now, the feds have already approved $25 billion. And now they want another $50 billion to go to the United Auto Workers, among other, or to go to these auto industries, in part to pay for members' retirement and health care benefits?
Indeed. I mean, and it is thievery, Megan. There's no other way to describe it. It's thievery by the Democrats. It's thievery by the unions. I'm sorry, but these companies, which have been poorly managed for decades, have no right to it. They have no right to taxpayer dollars. These people have no right to a job. And the automakers, as an industry, have no rights to any benefits that, I don't know, Circuit City, which filed for Chapter 11 today, or Lehman Brothers, or any other industry has. If they're primed for bankruptcy, if they're headed towards bankruptcy, that's exactly where they should end up.
Brian,
give me a break. It's far from thievery. What it is, it's socially responsible, and that's if they get the $25 billion, that some of that may be used to pay for the VEBA, and the VEBA initially took $70 billion off the balance sheet. That's the removing of the legacy costs from General Motors' balance sheet. Look, if the first $25 billion works for retooling and for R&D and for technology, we'll be building the products that the marketplace is going to respond to. We'll be making the money, and we won't need the second $25 billion because we'll return to profitability.
First of all, you already got the $25 billion. You got $25 billion four weeks ago, and the free market, Megan, the real market, is shunning these companies. Their bonds are yielding 25–30%. Their stocks are at multi-decade lows, and the size of these companies, I think GM is about 2% the size of Toyota. So I don't understand what is socially responsible about taking money from taxpayers and giving it to these Ponzi schemes called the Big Three.
Brian, before I get you to respond, let me just in case our viewers are a little lost, because I know you guys are well up to speed on it, but not everybody is. So the controversy is that we're already bailing out the auto industry to $25 billion, and now the auto industry wants more, and there's an objection to that, and there's also an objection to the way the money is going to be used. In other words, it's not going to be used to go for the bottom line. It's going to be used to pay for retirement benefits and so on. And a lot of taxpayers don't like that, Brian. They think, look, it's one thing to keep the company in business, it's another to fund retirement benefits. Go ahead.
That's understandable. But, you know, you may as well look at GM as a startup corporation right now. We have the R&D, we have the new products that are coming online. We've got the tools, we've got the technology, and I'm sure the marketplace is going to respond to the new products. We just need the time. So GM is a startup company, and we need some bridge loans for the contractual obligations. Once those obligations are met, we'll return to profitability. You know, we can give $50 billion to AIG to buy worthless paper. Why don't we invest in American manufacturing and actually create jobs and produce a product that the marketplace will respond to? Now, that's capitalism, Jonathan.
Go ahead, Jonathan. What's the response to that?
Well,
why not?
I don't think it's capitalism to take money from honest taxpayers who could have invested in these companies, Megan, any time for the last half century. And this whole notion of investing in green jobs and buying American, it is simply a red herring. If Apple Computer is an innovative company, they didn't get a bailout. And if the public wants an innovation, they will pay for it. GM has failed. Ford has failed. They deserve to end up in bankruptcy. That's exactly where the market is promising to end up. And I just don't understand why they have any right to money that they have not earned.
You know, Brian, even though the auto industry is obviously a part of the backbone of this country economically, we do get a lot of emails from viewers saying, enough with the bailouts. They had enough stomaching the Wall Street bailout. They don't want to do any more bailouts, whether it's the auto industry or any other industry, especially an industry like the auto industry, which Jonathan points out has rejected certain measures that might have helped itself. For example, they were slow to take on unions. They failed to invest in new products. They ceded the car market to the Japanese, and so on, according to some reports. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I will tell you that it's not that GM was slow to take on unions. This isn't your grandpa's UAW anymore. We understand the need to make General Motors and American manufacturing profitable. That helps us with our sustainability. It helps our membership with their economic and job security.
You know, Brian, you know what would help your membership?
Wait a minute, Jonathan.
Go find some other jobs.
Look, that's prosperity for all. You know, what's wrong with that? Now I'm a socialist. Look, if you want to fix GM, what you do is you fix the unregulated, unmedicated schizophrenia of Wall Street and these speculators that are driving up the price of oil. I love my Chevy Silverado.
Yes, it's the speculators' fault. It's all the speculators' fault.
I love my Chevy Silverado at $1 a gallon. I love it at $2 a gallon. It's the best vehicle I've ever driven. I don't like it at $4 a gallon, and it's got nothing to do with my Chevy Silverado.
Well, you know what? Why don't you buy
irresponsible speculators?
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, why don't you buy a Honda? I drive a Honda, Megan, and it runs great. You know what? This country has gotten by without Studebaker. We've gotten by without Packard. We've gotten by without the Pullman Porters. We've gotten by without a lot of industries that, you know, many thought were essential. We're going to get by just fine without General Motors, Ford, and more taxpayer dollars that companies don't
How about that, Brian?
Them.
Because you know, he's talking about the law of natural consequences, which is normally how capitalism works, not so much lately. But, you know, if your business fails, it fails. You regroup and you start again, and the companies that didn't fail reap the rewards. Why shouldn't that happen in the case here?
Well, look, Jonathan, I know you're selling Hondas. You're not much of a car salesman. You're doing great with snake oil, though. Listen, General Motors provides more products that get over 30 miles a gallon built by the UAW than any other producer, domestic or foreign automotive manufacturer. It's the UAW that builds those vehicles. It's not about the product, it's about the perception.
Right, but Brian, respond to my point, which is why not, if the company fails, why not let it fail? That's the way capitalism normally works.
Well, this company won't fail. This company built great vehicles, and it built great vehicles for decades, and it still builds great vehicles. And people would love these great vehicles if it wasn't for $4 a gallon gas. If you
gas isn't at $4 anymore, Brian, and the free market is flushing these companies down the tubes. And if these companies are going to succeed, they need to succeed on their own merits, not because of another $25 billion bailout from Uncle Sam.
Okay,
well,
guys,
great. Then why don't you take the money away from AIG and see how well they do?
All right, guys, gotta leave it at that. Listen, the bottom line is that we appreciate the spirited debate. It was on the merits. It was point counterpoint. It wasn't shouting. It was a little snarky, but that's all right. Brian and Jonathan, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it. Thanks, Megan.
We like snarky. I've never heard of the Big Three referred to as a Ponzi scheme, as Jonathan did. I always enjoy listening to him.
It's always a good sign when Rhonda's laughing.
Yeah.